Hey CRMers, what's up? It's Benitez here, and today I'm going to be showing you an Oracle product with Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online. Oracle. What? Yep, you heard that right, an Oracle product. And I find this product amazing because it produces end user learning material in so many formats. I'm a big believer in using products with Microsoft Dynamics CRM regardless of whether it's in the Microsoft stack or not. So I'm really excited to be showing you this Oracle product today. Okay, so in terms of projects, you can have poor user adoption rates throughout the life of the project, and that is because the users may not be familiar with the system that is implemented in the first place, and due to time constraints, not enough time can be spent in learning the system, as well as typically end users that go through UAT, they still have their own tasks to complete, and there's so many factors in terms of what can help with user adoption, and one of those factors is training material. However, as all consultants know, training material can be very time consuming. We spend a lot of time having to do the documentation or do the user story narratives, and of course, working in an agile world, that process that you had built in Sprint 2 can change because of how something else in Sprint 6 has come up, and then you have to go back and update all of that documentation. So enter UPK. So what is UPK? It's an Oracle product, and it stands for User Productivity Kit, and in my opinion, it is a lifesaver for training material. You're going to be so blown away in terms of the outputs that it generates. So there's two parts to UPK. There is the development tool, which is where you build your content and how you publish it. And then there is the display tool, which is what the end user sees and interacts with. So today I'm going to be showing you the development tool, how to build your training material and going through that process of editing your content and publishing it. In terms of the learner modes, this comes with the LMS, the Learning Management System player of UPK. There's 4 types, so you can either watch the video that gets recorded and generated. You can allow end users to interact with what you have recorded. You can also test them in terms of, do they actually know the process that they have just watched through the video or that they've interacted with. And there's also embedded help. I swear this will all make sense shortly when I go through it with you. Okay, in terms of the published content, so there is the player and LMS, which I will show you. There is also HTML websites that you can implement in terms of uploading it onto a server or on the cloud like AWS, and then there's also documents that get generated. So your presentation, which is the last one on the list, is in the form of a PowerPoint. You've got a test case, which is in the form of Excel, and I believe everything else is in the form of a Word document. So is it worth it? The answer is yes, it does reduce the time and cost spent in terms of generating learning material, whether it's you as a service provider or you as the client. So here's some stats that I grabbed from Oracle. And then, yeah, in terms of the cost savings, well, check out this table. It's right here in front of you. And when I first saw UPK demonstrated here at Myriad IT by one of my JDE colleagues, I was actually really, really blown away. I was like, wow, why haven't I known about this? Why haven't I used this in my past projects? It really is a cool tool. Okay, so I'm going to show you how UPK works, but before we get into it, I'm just going to go through the outline of my walkthrough. So I'm going to be showing you how to create a topic in sections. I'm going to show you how I'm going to record my end user process in Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online. I'm going to take you through the formats that I just showed you in terms of the developer content, so the LMS, and the HTML website, and then the documents, and then I'll be showing you what those outputs look like. So in terms of the structure in UPK, you have a library that contains pretty much all your recording content, and then the next bit is breaking it down into separate areas. So you have a module, then you've got a section, and then you've got topics. So think of as a module as maybe like sales, and then in your section you could have let's say customers, and then your topic could be account and contacts in the context of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Alright, so I'm going to exit out of my PowerPoint and jump into the remote machine. Okay, so right here in front of you is the UPK Developer tool, and in the library I've created my own module. So I've just got my module here called Eliza. These are my topics, and within the topic there are sections. So this is what it looks like. So we're going to create a new topic today, and I'm going to be showing you how to clone a price list in Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online using an IOTAP cloning tool. So I'm presenting at the upcoming Melbourne Microsoft Dynamics CRM user group on Tuesday on the IOTAP cloning tool. So I've got an environment set up, so I was like, okay, cool, why not? Let's use the same environment. Okay, so to create a new section, all I've done is I've right-clicked on my module here, this purple looking book, and I want to select new section. So I'm going to give it a name. And within there, I'm going to create a new topic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to record my screen using the recording tool in the UPK Developer kit. So here's a button up here, and it says record topic. So I've already logged into my online environment. So if I click on this icon on here, it's going to bring up a recording. So it's saying the current screen resolution does not match the setting for this topic. Do you want to record the topic with the current resolution? I select yes, and we get this little guy pop up. So let me just bring up my browser first. And it's saying that, okay, here you can press the print screen to start recording, and then print screen again to stop recording. Sorry, start and stop recording. Okay, so I'm just about to hit the print screen on my keyboard. Okay, so it's recording now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the price lists in CRM, and we're going to go ahead and clone a price list. So wait for this product catalog to load. Please load. All right, here it is. Okay, so we select price lists, and I'm going to select any of these price lists. Let's go with France. I select the price list, I click on the clone button, and we've got the cloning tool dialog that pops up, and we'll just wait for this to finish. Okay, it's created my cloning price list, so I'm going to give this a new name. I'll call it 2007, and I'll hit save, and that's the end of the cloning process. I'm going to hit print screen. So it's going to go ahead and capture that, and this is what it looks like when we bring it back into UPK. So what it does is it captures everything that you've done in terms of clicks through frames. So this is the first frame in here, and you can type in some descriptions in here as well. So if I want to say in this tutorial, tutorial, you will learn how to clone a price list. So you can do things like that, and if you want to go to the next frame, you can do so in here, and it'll even like highlight it. You can adjust it, and you can also change the text in there. So let me just expand this guy. So at the moment it's saying click the Chrome legacy window object. So it has the smarts to identify what are the different objects in your browser that you're clicking on. So I'm just going to call this menu, and if we go on to the next frame, again it'll present you with the other options. So what I'm doing right now is I'm pretty much editing the content that it has produced. So again, I can change this to settings, and basically you can just keep clicking on the next frame. You can adjust the sizing of the highlighted area. So this is pretty much what the user is going to see in the video and how they interact with the player when we produce the outputs. So I'll just do a couple of more tweaks, and then I can show you the outcome. Sorry, I'm like talking and typing and thinking at the same time. I'm just like, overload. Okay, cool. So let me just hit save. So that's me. I've edited some of the frames, as you can see, and I put some a bit of a description here in the beginning, and the next bit that I will show you is how to actually publish your content. So after you do some editing and you're happy with what you've produced in terms of those frames, you can then publish the content. So I've exited from the editing window, and the next bit is to click on publish. It's going to ask you to save somewhere. So here's a folder I created earlier. I click OK, and I click next, and it's asking you, okay, do I want to publish the entire outline? So do I want to publish the whole module, or do I only want to publish the selection only? So I'm going to select section only, and if I click on next, then it gives you advanced publishing options. I'm not going to change anything on here. I'm going to select next. Okay, and this is where you can select the following outputs that you want to generate. So this is a screenshot that you saw from my slides, and the first two are what we call, I suppose, produced content. So the player and the learning management system, the HTML websites, and then we have the document files. So this will be a PowerPoint, this will be in Excel, and the rest will be in Word. So I'm going to select all of them just so that I can show you what it's going to look like. And then the next thing is to click on Publish. So right now it's going to publish all of these outputs, and this will take just, I'd say, probably a minute. So behind the scenes, it's generating all the outputs desired, including the player and the learning management system. So just hang tight for a minute and I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so it has finished generating the content. So it tells me where I've saved the, where the UPK has saved the files, and also the local player. So I'll show you the local player first because this is the pretty cool bit. And this is where you're going to see those 4 learning modes that I talked about earlier. So there's the whole see it in terms of watching the video. There's the try it, so interacting with what has been produced. There's the know it, which is the testing, and then there's also the embedded help. So in terms of the video that gets generated, it brings it up in Internet Explorer and it will start to play the video for you. So you can actually record audio in here as well, but because this is a remote machine, you can't hear my voice, so all you're going to see is just some clicking. So you see the mouse moving and the red square. So those are those like rectangle boxes that are as like resizing, and then there's also the areas, so the speech bubbles where you can change the content in there. So all of that was pretty straightforward. So I didn't have to like take screenshots and highlight them. It pretty much just recorded it in there for me. Okay, so that's watching the video. Then there's the try it. So this is when you have the end user being able to actually click onto the screen. So if I hit enter, and I can now click. So when I click, it's going to move to the next frame. So then if I click on settings, it'll then move to show the product catalog. And when I show the product catalog, it's going to show me the options within there. So that's the whole try it mode. Then we have the know it. So this is like testing your end users to ensure that they understand what they're doing, and if they don't, then they're going to get a score, or there's something that's going to tell them that they're doing wrong. So if I hit enter, right, and so we know that we're meant to click on the menu. So if I don't click on the menu, and let's say I click on over here, it'll say the action you have performed is incorrect, please try again. And if I click somewhere else, it's saying the action you have performed is incorrect. Click the menu object. So if I click on the menu object, it'll then go, okay, cool. All right, what is the next step that you need to click on? And so if I click on settings, again, it'll move to the next frame. So that's pretty cool. Like you can actually do tests for your end users to ensure that they've scored 100%, and if they haven't, well, then that means they need to spend more time in learning the system. Then there's embedded help. So this is the do it. Oh, where did that go? Okay. So this is about, I suppose, like a step-by-step guide. Like it's showing you. Personally, I don't really rate this one compared to the other learning modes, but hey, it works. So this is the player slash learning management system. So I'll show you the other content that gets published. In terms of the HTML pages, we can have a look. Oh, I can't remember which one it is. Yeah. So here's an example of the HTML page, and if I show you something else, the other cool options that you can see is the job aid. So the job aid, think of it as like a cheat sheet. So it's something that you can print out for your end users. So here it is. It just tells you what you can click on. So this is generated in Word. In terms of the other type of content, there's also the test case. So this is in the form of Excel. So it generates all of this for you. Like I didn't do any configuration at all. This is pretty much ready to go out of the box. So as you can see, it's put in some columns in there for you. It's grabbed the section heading and also the module, and it's telling you what you're doing. Yep, and so there's some columns in there. So you're able to do some testing and record them as well. Then we have something like the training guide. So if I bring up the training guide, this is what it looks like. It's all formatted in there for you. Now, it's not the greatest look and feel, but from what I know, you can adjust the templates of Word. So this is what it looks like. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you is things like the presentation. So also, again, it generates this into PowerPoint for you. Sorry, ignore those. And it also grabs the screenshots for you. Like, so these screenshots, they're in the form of the frames that we had edited. So maybe not the greatest in terms of the size of the screenshots, but you kind of get the feel of what this produces. And let's show you one more thing, which is the test doc. All right, so in this document, this is more of testing your end users, like what do they expect to happen. Here's some notes and here are the results. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, as you can see, there's so many outputs that can be generated, whether it's the HTML pages. I feel like I did a poor job in showing you the HTML pages, or things like the cheat sheet, which is the job aid, or the player package. So you would install it, you would have that in the Knowledge Center, and you've got PowerPoint slides, the training guides. You know, you've got your test cases, and yeah, that's pretty much UPK. You don't have to use Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online. You can use any other product out there as long as it's accessible through the browser, because that's what it captures. And I really like it. I mean, as you can see, it just generates pretty cool documents without any configuration or setup. If you want to change the look and feel of the templates of these documents, you can do so. So I'm just going to jump back into my PowerPoint. So just to recap, in a nutshell, it's a time and cost saver for learning material because it can generate different types of formats all in one go, and you don't have to spend too much time in terms of taking screenshots and highlighting areas and having to write in the content as well. From what you saw, you know, it has like an editor in terms of the text on the side of the screen, and the outputs that get generated, it's easy to distribute to your end users for better training and adoption rates. I mean, think about it, like you can produce test documents, so like exercises where the end users can go, okay, in this step, this is what the expected outcome is. And then you also have the interactive player tool where you're testing their knowledge, and if they click on something that they shouldn't, you know, they get prompted with that is incorrect, please try again. And then if you get it wrong in the next go, then it tells you this is what you need to do next. And in my opinion, Oracle UPK, it's quite easy to use. It's easy to pick up, like it's not rocket science, and I think it's a really cool tool, and I really believe that it would save a lot of time, especially for all you consultants out there that have to do the handover and training to clients. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Listed. So I've got an environment to use that I'm going to use. I've got an environment to use which I'm going to use in this. Oh my god. Sorry, let's try that again.